Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to season 2, episode 2 of the Sleepover podcast. I'm your host, Rakisha Cox, and it is 6 something in the morning on a Saturday while I'm recording this. I have been up since 4 something, and I woke up with energy, y'all. Like, I woke up with the type of energy where it's just like you could lay here all you want, you're not going back to sleep, so you might as well get up. But lucky for you, I had it in my plans today to record this episode, so it was already in the plans. I have been waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning every day, honestly, since my Daniel fast. So I think this is just my norm, and I've been trying to push it down, but we're gonna stop avoiding. We're just gonna lean into it. We are a person who gets up at 4 and 5 in the morning now. But you know what? I kind of like it because I feel like I get to wake up before the world is up. It's quiet. I get to spend my time with God. I get to journal. I get to read. I get to work out. And apparently, I get to record my podcast episode. So here we are. Here we are. Anyways, do we have any updates? Let's see. So, since my last episode, I actually did decide that I am just going to stay in my apartment for another year. I feel like it's either I move or it's either I do a career change. I don't feel comfortable doing both at the same time. I just don't, the way my anxiety is set up, not my ministry. So I feel like I'm just going to stay in my apartment another year. Unless God has other plans, I'm still open to that. But as of right now, the decision that I made for myself is that I'm going to stay in my apartment another year. I'm going to stack some money because listen, the way rent is nowadays, it ain't cheap. And I feel like I pay a decent price for my apartment. So I'm just gonna stay here, stack some money, and really look into career changes and what I want to do with that. But other than that, I don't think I really have much of an update. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast is because I wanted to create what I wanted to hear. Have you ever saw that meme where it's just like create what you want to read or listen to or whatever? And I leaned into that full-heartedly. I wanted to talk about real life issues and topics that 20 and 30 somethings go through and not just like the glamorized versions that you get from influencers or people who just want to go viral. I wanted to talk about the real. I wanted to get into the nitty gritty and I just wanted to share my truth because I feel like it is also the truth of some other people around the same age as me. And one of the things that I really wanted to hit on is money. And I do not like talking about money because I have money trauma and yeah, it's just not one of my favorite topics. But here we are. We're about to talk about money. So I have learned that I have insecurity around money, as you can probably tell already because I don't want to talk about this topic. I have insecurity around money, and I think it's mainly because I did not grow up in a family that was financially literate or financially responsible when it comes to money. I grew up in a family that often lived paycheck to paycheck, like that's the norm. Often live paycheck to paycheck, borrowing money. I'm not sure if people really save like that. I grew up in a family where there were more generational curses than there was generational wealth. And I feel like as the curse breaker, it's my job to break that curse. That is something that I feel like I'm on assignment to do. At the very least, I want to be able to say, I taught my future children financial literacy or at least something. And I'm not going to take full responsibility for that because I also feel like my parents have done a really good job of setting the tone. My mother especially is really really good about saving and I don't even think she knows, but she's taught me so much and inspired. Why am I getting emotional? Oh my gosh, it's too early to be crying. But she's taught me so much about being frugal with money and also just saving, even if you aren't where you want to be financially in life. And I also think that one of the lessons that my parents don't know that they taught me is they taught me how to prioritize, and just looking at how some of my friends go about their financial situations and like what they prioritize financially, I'm like, wow, I'm not like y'all. Not no shade or anything like that, but I'm just so grateful that my parents taught me priorities and not to be out here spending my money on dumb stuff and just jacking up my finances. I'm just really grateful for that. So, like I said, my parents definitely set the tone, and I think that is my job to my future children, to the next generation, to take a step further and set that tone for them. So I've been on a mission to teach myself financial literacy and to better budget and just get better with money and deal with my own financial trauma, which I had a talk with God yesterday when I woke up at 4 and 5 something again, and he really like revealed to me why, like where my money insecurity is rooted from, and like why I even show up the way I do, or like how my mindset is when it comes to even relationships and finances and things like that. So anyways, I say all that to say we're going to be talking about budgeting and money and saving, and we'll hit on investing probably for like 0.2 seconds because that's something I'm still kind of learning. We'll hit on paying down debt and yeah, things like that. So the chunk of our discussion today, I guess you could call it a discussion, will be on ways to save and to budget because that's what I know the most about so far. So, I guess my number one way to save or to budget would be to stop keeping up with the Joneses. Point blank, period. I think that comparison is the thief of joy. We've heard that quote or whatever before. It really is. We compare ourselves to our peers, we compare ourselves to our parents, we compare ourselves to our partners who we're in relationships with. We compare ourselves to people who are on the internet, and the people on the internet are going broke behind the internet. I wrote it in a Facebook status one day. I said that people on the internet are going broke behind the internet trying to prove to people on the internet that they're not broke. And big facts, baby. They really are like in between influencers trying to tell you you need all of these things that you do not need. They don't even need those things. They are going broke behind those things. Some of those things are gifted to them. They can't even afford their lifestyle. I love watching YouTube videos where people are just like debunking, I don't even know if that's the right word, but people are just debunking influence, bear with me. People are just debunking influencers and just like showing how they lie in their videos. I saw this one girl, I think she was just like this Christian mom influencer, but she showed her get ready for church with me routine, and she rolled out of bed with pajamas that still had tags on them, and I'm like, she gonna return them pajamas after this video. But yeah, we just try to keep up with people on the internet, and it just makes no sense. Even just in our real lives, we try to keep up with what our friends are doing and what our family's doing, and people are on their own path financially and just overall. People are on their own path and own journey. So someone might look like they're on a 5 while you're on your 1, and you can't compare yourself to that. You will literally go broke trying to keep up with the Joneses. Okay, so number two is to save what you can. Even if you're on a low income and you feel like you don't have anything left over to put into a savings, save what you can. Even if it's just like $10, $20 a paycheck, it adds up over time. And at least you can get into the habit of saving. So for me, I like to look at my savings like a bill. So I pay myself first. After I pay my tithes and offerings, I transfer money to my savings as if I'm paying it like it's a bill. Because what you don't want to do is get your paycheck, get paid, and then spend all of your money and then try to put something in your savings when you're just like, oh, I don't have anything left over because you have now looked at your money like you have it available. I don't know if I'm making sense, but listen, it's early in the morning. Bear with me, but definitely pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Pay it, look at it like it is a bill. I write it down on my budget sheet as if it's a bill. Okay, so number three, invest in a high yield savings account or a CD account. So I'm not too familiar with a CD account. It stands for Certificate of Deposit, but there are some similarities between a high yield savings account and a certificate of deposit account. So both of these are good if you have savings money just sitting around that you don't need to touch at the moment. Here's the thing. Say you have a savings account and you have like $1,000, however much money you have in your savings account. The bank pays you a dividend for that money that's in your savings account. But the thing about it is the bank will pay you like a 0.10% dividend. So say if you have like $1,000, you might get, I don't know, like a 8 cents dividend at the end of every month. That's not getting you anywhere. 8 cents is absolutely nothing. But with a high yield savings account or a CD account, they have a higher APY. So compared to this 0.10%, and that also depends on your bank, I guess, you can be getting like I don't know, like a 4.5 APY compared to 0.10%. Which one do you want? Which one do you think is going to get you more money in the long run? Probably the 4.5%, right? So basically, it earns you a higher interest on your savings account compared to what the bank is trying to give you. The bank is trying to give you crumbs, baby. You want something that's going to get you more money over time. That 1000% that you have saved in just your regular bank account with the 0.10%, you can earn like $5 a month or whatever the case may be, depending on the APY. Because I do know that high yield savings accounts, they are very dependent on the market and things like that. So it can kind of, it fluctuates, it goes up and down, but honestly, anything is better than that little 0.10%. Okay. And then with the CD count, I do know it's something that you can't touch for a little while. And again, this also depends on the bank. Some banks are like, okay, if you put this money in here, we'll give you a 4.5 APY, but you can't touch it for 6 months or you can't touch it for 36 months. However, it really just depends on your bank. But like I said, anything is better than the little crumbs that your bank is trying to give you, the little dividend that they give you at the end of each month that's getting you absolutely nothing, not really much interest in return. So, number four, you want to create a bi weekly or a monthly budget or both and actually stick to them. This is key. This is so, so important. If you don't take anything else from this podcast episode, take this into account. Create a budget. A budget is so important. You want to write out all of your bills for the month or for the pay period or for both. And you want to write out every single thing, including your subscriptions, savings, debt, if you tithe and offer, all of the things, and look at everything like a bill. So one of the mistakes that I was making, I was not writing out I would write out all of my bills per pay period and for the month or the next month and a half or whatever, but I was not including my subscriptions, and those add up. Even the smallest subscriptions. So say for example, I have a subscription with Apple for $2.99 for like extra storage on my phone. That is something to take into account. If you have any apps that you have a subscription for, Hulu, Netflix, whatever the case may be, those are still bills. That's still money being taken out of your account. You want to know where all of your money is going. So definitely write out a bi-weekly, however, I don't know how often you guys get paid, but bi-weekly or monthly or every week, write out your budget. It just helps to see where your money is going and where you spend the most unnecessary money. It helps to see how much money you have left over after you've paid all of your bills, all of the things. Like, you definitely need a budget. Shameless plug, I do have budget sheets that I made on Etsy. You can use them however many times once you purchase them. They're not expensive at all. Not at all. I definitely didn't want to make something to where it's like people have to spend so much money just to purchase these. I know a lot of people, like, we're all probably struggling or could use extra money wherever we can. So they're on Etsy. You can print them off. They come in pink and gray. If you follow my YouTube channel, I have a video of them on there if you want to just see them ahead of time. But I have a pink version, I have a gray version, and then both versions also come with a PDF version. I know everyone's not a paper person, so if you prefer to do it like on your tablet, your laptop, whatever the case may be, there's also that included. So yeah, just a little shameless plug, little shameless plug. I'll include the link in the description box below. Number 5, utilize cash back apps in card rewards. So if you have a debit card or credit card that you use, oftentimes they come with rewards. You can maybe check the app or whatever, and they will show you, like, oh, at these particular stores, you can get however much cash back or whatever. But also, there are apps that are literally just made to give you cash back. So, some of the ones that I use are Rakuten, Upside, and then there's also a app. This is not a cashback app, but it's good for anyone who you spend a lot of money on eating out, Uber eating, and all of that. It's called Too Good to Go. I will actually explain that in my next point because I feel like it goes along better with this next point. But Rakuten, Upside, and there are so many others, but just utilize those apps. Again, the money adds up, and especially if you are already paying for something like gas, Upside is good for gas purchases. You're already paying gas, you already need gas in your car, so why not get cash back? You know? It just makes sense. It makes sense. And then for Rakuten, it's good for online shopping. Like whenever I make a Shein purchase or I don't know, say like a CVS online purchase, if I'm printing out pictures, go through that app, you'll get cash back. Simple as that. I also discovered I went to this cafe one day and I got cash back from Rakuten. And I'm like, when did I sign up for this? But they have Rakuten dining to where some restaurants, if you order there, you get cash back. Like I said, you're already making these purchases, so why not get extra money on top? Okay, I believe we're on number 6. Stop eating your money. And I know that sounds weird to say, stop eating your money. Eat at home. You know how, people's mamas used to say we got food at the house? We do. We got food at the house. Eat the food at the house. Eating out will eat your money up. Eat at home. Create a grocery budget. Use grocery store apps to save. Like, they have digital coupons. I have saved, I think I looked at it this morning. I think $454 just using digital coupons from my Jules Osco app. You can save just so much money. Like, they have deals every week. Say 99-cent fruit, strawberries, whatever, compared to like buying them flat out, it would be like a dollar and something, $2 and something. Just save where you can. So stop eating your money, eat at home, create a grocery budget. And like I was talking about earlier, if you absolutely must order takeout, do the Too Good To Go app. Also, Rakuten and Upside both have restaurant options using those apps as well. So the Too Good To Go app is actually something that I just recently discovered. I was watching this YouTube video of this girl. I want to give her credit. What is her name? I think her name on YouTube is It's Giving Growth, but she was talking about the Too Good To Go app. And so basically, it is an app where there are some restaurants around your city at the end of the day, when they don't have any more customers or whatever going in, instead of wasting the food and throwing it out, they'll put a bag together full of just random stuff and you can come pick it up for a fraction of the price. Honestly, I mean, things on there are like $3.99, $4.99, $6.99. I think the highest I've seen is like $9.99. But like, even some grocery stores like Whole Foods was on there. They will put a bag together and pretty much just give you a bunch of random food that you can eat. I mean, you're not, if you are craving something specific, like, I don't know, a jerk chicken bowl or something like that, you're not guaranteed to get that. But listen, $3.99 for a whole bunch of food sounds like a good time to me. So definitely utilize those options as well. I forgot what number we're on, but the next one is get a reloadable Visa for your groceries or your store purchases. So, something that I really struggle with, and one of the areas that I know I eat a lot of my money, is grocery shopping. I just, I find joy in grocery shopping. I don't know why, but I find joy in it. So I go to a store, and even if I have a list of things that I need, I am that type of person like, ooh, what's this? I want to try it. It looks good. So I just grab random things, even if they're not on my list, and that starts adding up. A reloadable Visa card will help because say you have a set limit for 2 weeks until the next time you get paid. Say you put your limit is like, I don't know, $100 per pay period when it comes to groceries. You use that card until, I don't know, you can't use it anymore, but that is your limit. That is your limit. You can't go over. If you want to go under, great, but you can't go over that limit. And the same can apply if you have a problem when you go to Target or something like that. You have a problem with overspending and just getting things that you don't need or things that aren't on your list. This reloadable Visa card will help you stay within your budget. And the last thing, I don't know if this really counts as a way to save or budget, but sell unwanted or unused items. There are apps like the Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Poshmark. So many apps you can sell things on, and you could just earn some extra money that way. I've sold on Facebook Marketplace. I sold my candle stuff. I had like a whole candle making setup going. I sold that, and you can sell things separately as well. Like I sold my jars and my fragrance oils separately, and people actually bought them. And I had used some of my fragrance oils. I made it known that they were used, but like people are just interested in buying things because at the end of the day, it is a fraction of a cost for them compared to them just going to the store and buying this stuff outright. But it is ways to just make a little extra money on the side. Okay, so now that we are done talking about budgeting and saving, let's talk about paying down debt because that is a monster. That is a monster that I do not wish on anyone. When I was a little younger, my parents got me a credit card for Christmas, and they got me a credit card for Christmas with a credit card company that is notorious for their interest in their high interest. I don't really know. I don't, I'm not coming up with a word for what it's called. Is it an APY? I don't know. But anyways, that thing ate me up. I feel like eventually I started just making unnecessary purchases on it. And then when I moved into my apartment, it definitely did not help because I was a young person trying to figure out how to navigate my new financial situation, and I was just swiping, and yeah, yeah, it ate me up. So I had to learn how to pay down debt. And again, my parents are really good about that. My dad and my mom are really good about paying down debt. And like, my dad is the type of person, he's just like, I will sit with you. Like, I know you don't want to share this with me. I'm not trying to get in your business, but I will sit with you and go over a method on how to pay this down and like how you can do it per pay period or whatever the case may be. I didn't take him up on the offer. I don't know if it was pride or what, but I was like, I'm gonna do this myself. I got myself in this situation, so I'm gonna do this myself. But disclaimer, before we get into how I went about paying down my credit card debt, I just want to say I'm not a financial advisor. This is what worked for me. It may not work for you. Let's get into it. So, one thing that I did that helped a lot is that I got a loan with a more chewable interest rate, I guess you could say. So I got a loan from my credit union, and that helped because then I was just paying towards the loan compared to me paying the minimum balance on my credit card payment and not getting anywhere. Because again, like I said, this credit card was eating me up. The interest on it was eating me up. So paying the minimum or even just a little over the minimum was getting me nowhere. Honestly, I think so much of my credit card debt came just from the fact that the interest was eating me up because I do not remember making that much debt for myself. But I got a loan with a better interest, and honestly, it helped my credit score tremendously. I think it was because I paid my loan in full with my credit card company. So for my credit, it just looked like, oh wow, you paid this big bulk of a payment. And so it boosted my credit score tremendously, and it allowed me to actually make progress on my credit card debt instead of just paying the minimum and getting absolutely nowhere. So that is what helped me. The next thing would be to do a budget challenge. Say you want to have it paid off by the end of this year. How much would you need per month? How much would you need to pay per month to get there? And that's something that I did. Like last year I was like, okay, I want to pay this off by the end of this year. How much would I need to pay to get there? So I kept paying my monthly payment, which was due at the end of the month, and then every paycheck I was like, okay, aside from my monthly payment, how much would I need to pay to get there? So every paycheck I would pay a certain amount of money. Every paycheck that I wasn't paying the actual amount that was due on the due date, I would pay a certain amount of money, and then I would be like, okay, on this certain month, I get paid 3 times. So I'm going to put that extra paycheck towards that, or at least put like a chunk of that money towards that. But yeah, I would just pay like the extra money just to get there. And I actually did succeed in paying off my credit card debt last year. I think I finished paying it in November. And so now I have that extra money that I can save with. But yeah, if you are someone who gets paid bi-weekly, there are 2 months out of the year where you get 3 paychecks. So put that extra money towards your debt if you have any debt, or you can invest it, you can save it. Also, if you're someone who gets money back, lucky you. When it comes to taxes, put your tax money towards that amount as well. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in like, oh, I got this extra money. What am I gonna do with it? I'm about to go get a Gucci belt or whatever. You're staying broke because of that. Like I said in number one, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Next, we're going to talk about investing. And this is going to be short and sweet and to the point because I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to investing. All I know is all I know. Okay? So, I invest in penny stocks. So, I like to follow financial blogs and financial podcasts about investing and things like that. They'll give you hints, I guess you could say. They'll give you hints on like what's doing well. Try to buy, the point is that you buy low you buy them when they're low, but like look at the chart and see if they are constantly in the green, see if they're constantly making progress, see if you notice a pattern. That's that. See if they're doing well, and then if they're doing well over time, continue to put little money in from time to time so you can invest in more stocks. The more stocks that you have for a particular stock, if it skyrockets, your money's going to increase. You're going to do well. I feel like I'm doing like investing for dummies, and the dummy is me right now because I don't know what I'm talking about. I really do not know stocks that well. It's something that is on my goal list for this year to really learn. But also, a thing that you should consider when investing is to only risk what you're also willing to lose. Like, don't go investing your entire savings. That is not smart. I do not advise you to do that. I honestly think of stocks like gambling, and I'm not a good gambler. I will go like to the casino, say we're on vacation with my dad, and the minute I lose like 20 to $40, I'm done. I'm done. I'm about to go sit in the corner with my free sody pop and judge all of y'all because I don't like losing my money. I am done. So only risk what you're also willing to lose. Do not invest money that you really can't afford to lose. Something to also consider is that the stock market is funny. It is an emotional place. One little bit of news and the stock can either plummet or skyrocket. So for example, I'll let y'all in on a little tea. I had invested in Rigetti Computing, quantum computing in general was really hot for a second. But the dude from Nvidia, which is a very popular stock this year and last year, has said something, and immediately all of the quantum computing stocks plummeted just because he said something that skewed people's perception. At the end of the day, nobody wants to lose their money, so people start pulling out if they are like, oh, this is not a good investment or whatever the case may be. And even the election and things like that influences the market. So just be mindful of that. It is a very emotional place. If people see that their stocks are going down, they're going to start pulling out, pulling out, pulling out. That is pretty much it for me. I feel like I've just been rambling on about stuff that I am still learning and don't really know about. My advice would be to listen to financial podcasts and read financial blogs. Some of the podcasts that I like to listen to are Girls That Invest, also the Clever Girls Know podcast, and then just, you know, reading. You could read Yahoo Financial and things like that. Just reading up on things, reading up on blogs. There was a blog that my gosh, what was it called? I almost want to say it was like the Clever Girls Know blog or something like that. But that is where I got the idea to do the reloadable Visa or reloadable debit card or whatever. I don't completely remember if it was that. But yeah, just do your own research. Honestly, all you can do is learn. All you can do is learn. We are out here trying to break generational curses and all of the things. We usually do our journal and reflection. And so today, our journal is going to be to write out a budget plan. I told you that budgeting is the number one thing that you definitely want to do if you don't take anything else from this episode. Write out a budget plan, and shameless plug again, my budget sheets are available on Etsy, so go purchase them. And if you already have a budget plan and you're comfortable with it, write out a savings plan. And if you already have a savings plan and you're comfortable with it, then I would recommend that you do some research when it comes to investing and just do some research. Sometimes you got to teach yourself financial literacy if there's no one who's ever really taught you financial literacy. So don't forget to share, follow, and review the podcast. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and leave some comments. I want to hear from you guys. Is there anything you found helpful in this episode? Do you have any other financial tips you can share with the girls at the sleepover? Let us know. we're all in this together. That's all I have. I'm done rambling. My nose is stuffy. I need to go. Sending you so many hugs and love, my girls. I will see you at the next sleepover.